Hello. Welcome to Laugh and Learn Magic Tool Talk. I'm Gerald, Tarot Stash. Today, I am joined by Tanys from Twillo Lifestyle Community. Today, in this Laugh and Learn, we're talking about gem water or crystal water, as some people may refer to it.
Mm-hmm.
In the description below are questions that we're going to be addressing or topics we're going to be addressing, as are all of the links to our channels, all of the ways that you can find us, all of the ways that you can support us. We do a whole bunch of cool stuff. So be there. How's that? Be there.
It's fun.
This is my voice that I get to use every once in a while. It's like, welcome to a Laugh and Learn. And if you want more Laugh and Learn or Magic Tool Talk stuff, there is a playlist in the description for those. So if you need something to listen to whilst you're doing your chores, put that playlist on. And what I think is also awesome is you can turn it to double speed and listen to us talk really, really quickly.
Ooh, that would be funny.
Yeah. So, Tanys, how are you?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Doing well.
Honored as always to be here.
Oh, well, thank you. I am glad you're joining us. This is really a continuation of, it's a tangential thing from the crystal grids that we talked about. Was that last week? Anyhow,
might have been 2 weeks, but
2 weeks.
Recently.
Yes, yeah. It is in the description. And this is, I'm like many people. I like crystals. People like crystals. This is really wonderful. So here's the thing to keep in mind is as you are considering the stuff that we're talking about, please remember that this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. Yes. Please like and subscribe to our channels. It's free to subscribe. You can share this video with someone you may know. And of course, right now, my internet is going, well, Gerald's talking about gem waters. We're not going to collaborate anyhow.
I'll try and hold up the show if something happens.
Well, thank you. I am going to take a sip of my beverage. So
yeah, don't forget to check out Gerald's merch.
Merch? What do you mean
merch? His awesome mustache merch.
Yes, there are new t-shirts that are in there, new things. And please purchase responsibly. Know your limits. We're here to share, not to sell.
Definitely.
So, Tanys, you in the Twillo Lifestyle Community, you do a regular show you post videos about crystals every week.
Yes, we have a crystal of the week.
Crystal of the week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you do crystal of the week, is that just an energetic thing that you understand that these are the crystals that would be helping people? Or
I ask the guides, and they tell me when. It's an intuitive pick. Often it's whatever they tell me often matches. Like on Twillo Talk, we talk about the transits as well.
Yes.
And so often it ends up matching that and supporting that as well. But it's really very just an intuitive process.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Mm-hmm. Do you ever mention if these crystals for the crystal of the week would be appropriate for gem water?
I don't. The reason being is because not everybody knows what gem waters are.
Yes.
And there are some safety concerns.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I don't want to put it out there unless we're looking at the full picture.
Yeah. Oh, and that's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. And my apologies. Well, not really. Sorry for putting you on the spot because I knew you could answer the question.
Yeah. No. It's all good.
I do want to say hello to the best chatters, to the work lurkers, to the future lurkers, and the best lurkers. We see you. You are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or do I have? Oh, I don't have. Oh, here I could do this. I could do this. Tiny hand alert. I see you. I see you.
That's awesome.
Anyhow,
I could put my rose-colored glasses on.
Oh, I have a pair of those somewhere. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm just going to swing by. We have Terry is here, Shenanigans, Brit, Play, Love, Remember. Orshi is here. It's great to see you, Orsi. Thank
Awesome.
you. Maru has joined us. Sylvia. This is Bobby Wild Raven Tarot, who I was on. He hosted a show and I was able to simulcast it where we did tarot matchmaking. Now I have to all of the great questions I need to do.
Interesting.
A question. And by the way, Bobby, if you have any influence over someone named Joey from the Veiled Witch Cottage, I sent an email asking if they might want to join a casual. So just saying. Jonathan is here.
Hey,
yes,
Jonathan.
we do have merch now. So,
mm-hmm.
And thank you, Maru. So it's great to see everybody here. How many of you? Oh,
Essence
Selena,
of the Moon. Yeah.
Selena is going to be a guest on my channel on Saturday for a casual. We're going to deep dive and we're going to find out all about Selena.
Beautiful.
So this is wonderful.
Awesome.
So
and we have Julianne Guthrie.
Julianne, hello. So, and there you go. You got your individual hello. So please do us the favor and subscribe to all of the channels, both of our channels. They're linked below, as is the website, the Twillo Lifestyle Community website.
Yep, and it's twillolifestyle.ca.
And there's great information there. So,
and the membership site, which gives you bonuses and resources and stuff, and it's free.
It's free, people.
It's free.
All right. So so here, let me do this. I've got a little bit of started. This episode explores the fascinating world of crystal and gem waters, why people make them, how they work, and how to do so safely. We're going to cover simple, informative questions to help guide our conversation and to help you learn joyfully and safely. So,
yes.
You teach crystal class, right?
I do, and it's also part of the Celtic Shamanic program.
Okay.
Well, actually, and the Galactic Shamanic program, because crystals are used throughout healing, so they're different, different angles that we use.
But Sylvia says, "Is it obvious you find crystal or gem water supportive to your water or energies journey? Yet, what one feels when they drink from gem water?" I'm going to star that one if you want to.
We can get into that. I think so. It's one of those things. Hey, Hershey, it's one of those things that you may not feel anything right away, or you may, because it all depends on how sensitive you are to energy, right? And so I can't say that you're always going to feel a tingle or you're always going to feel, lighter or whatever, because it really depends. It's very individual in terms of what you're going to feel. So we can't really generalize on that. So some people do feel those things, like a warmth or a tingle as they ingest. Others don't feel anything, and that's okay, but they may have an accumulative effect. So much like Reiki and other energy healing, crystals can have a cumulative effect on you.
Yes.
And so that's why they often do them with dosages and that sort of thing, which we're not going to get too much into dosages today because that's getting into a lot of detail. And we just don't have time for that. But there are certain dosages for certain ones that are helpful and more therapeutic than some of the other things. Now, having said that, it's all energetic.
It is all energetic. Also, it's really important. people's mileage may vary. Some people never feel the energy from a Reiki session.
That's
It
right.
doesn't mean that it's not working.
Exactly.
So, just
Because each of us has our own sense of how we experience energy. And that's
yes,
in any kind of energy healing.
exactly.
Crystals are
Exactly.
just another form.
I am excited to have this first question. Why gem water? Why? Why do it?
Because it's a great way to really infuse the body.
Mm-hmm.
So, when we talk about waters, we're talking about infusing the internal or the external with
Mm-hmm.
the energy of the crystals. So we can have them externally, just um, Hershey said, yeah, that one.
I do
I won't
everything with
apologize for it
crystals,
either.
and I will not apologize for it.
Me
We're not
either.
asking you to, Hershey.
No, me either.
Yeah.
We encourage this.
Mhm.
So the first thing I want to say for those that haven't seen the other videos too is that crystals are first dimensional beings.
Okay.
So they have a consciousness. They know um, when we need to work with them and when we
Mm-hmm.
don't. And so you can pick up two different crystals in your hands at the same time, hold them for the same amount of time, and one will stay cool and the other one will get warm. And that's
Yeah.
because the warm one knows that you need it. So it
Mm,
wakes up and says, okay, let's play. And it vibrates. And so gem waters, basically, how they're working, is that it's much like you see with the Messer Emoto study.
mm-hmm.
And I'm sure most of you have probably, if you've been to energy healing, that's a comprehensive study about how consciousness and intention affect water. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
me too.
Yeah.
um, and so Messer Emoto is a scientist from Japan who's done this study, and it's so you can see that water is super programmable. And so this is
Yes.
part of why, yes, Emoto water studies, exactly. And so this is part of why um, gem waters can be so effective,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because the water gets programmed by the crystals that are in it. And that's how it works, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
that programmed water, we need water. So putting that programmed water in a specific frequency into our bodies
Yes.
allows us to focus the energy of it
Yes.
just that little bit more.
Well, and so, we're talking about why gem water, and what is gem water and how does it differ from regular infused water like lemon or cucumber?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to venture out and say gem water is water that has been infused with the energy of gems or crystals.
Yes.
It's not really different than infused water, lemon or cucumber.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you say to that?
I would say yes, because each thing brings its own healing properties,
Mm-hmm.
right? So your lemon is very cleansing to the system. There are crystals that will do the cleansing bit too,
Yes.
right? Like a
Mm-hmm.
bloodstone can do that. I don't want you to go and put bloodstone in your water, though, please. It's
No,
not one of the ones that you want to put in.
we
Okay.
will talk about that.
I'm going to
Do your
mention that right
research.
now so that if there's
Yes.
in and outs, they know.
Yes.
Um, so yeah. So basically, why gem waters is because they are programmable, and we can be very specific. So oftentimes we don't think to program our cucumber or lemon or whatever. We might, but if we don't often think about that. I think people tend to think about putting intention into crystals more than they would think to put it into a lemon before they put it in.
You can put intention into everything. I would
Absolutely.
encourage you to do that. You can, as you are stirring your beverage in the morning, tea, coffee, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
as you stir in, you can say words. It matters. It
It
works.
does.
It
It
works.
does.
We have some really quite thought-provoking questions, so
Yeah.
I want to pull some of those up. Strongly recommend. They are going to open doors that you don't know were going to be a great place. Yes.
Yeah.
And we did see, or she feels naked if she's not wearing any crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Bobby said, will man-made crystals like blue goldstone make a difference?
Yes, because just because they're man-made doesn't mean they don't have their own frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on what you're trying to create. So if it has a frequency, it will program the water.
Yes.
So whether it's the one you want or not is another thing, but they will program water.
Yeah. Or she is holding 2 crystals in her hand right now. Let's see which one warms up. Please keep us updated. And Jonathan said his first teacher always had bowls of water and crystals outside his bunk to bake in the sun.
Yeah.
And then you put the water. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Julianne reminds us that water is also an amplifier.
Definitely.
So I love that. I love that. So,
oh, we've got a response here. The one in the left will.
Oh, or she. Okay, cool. Gem water. I mean, there's. You can do it with anything, and for any reason. It can be for consumption. It can also be for purifying sacred space and sharing intention. So
there's one distinction that I'd like to cover, if that's okay. And it
yes,
was,
please.
There's a distinct. So there are 3 terms that are used: crystal water, gem water, and crystal elixirs.
Okay, thank
and
you.
So I just want to do a bit of a distinction. So gem water is kind of the overall term. And crystal water is an overall term. Gem water is like one specific crystal that you're putting in water to create that frequency. A crystal elixir is one where you're using multiple crystals.
Okay.
So that's the difference. So that's creating a blended energy.
I like that. Thank you.
So just as an aside.
That's great. So let's, talk about choosing crystals for water.
Okay.
How would you go about that?
So there's a few things to look at. One, you're going to look at like, what crystals do you need? What are you working with? Right. So we're going to pick the usual easy one. I'm working with heart stuff. I'm working with love stuff. Okay. I'm going to use things like, so if I'm working with like heartache or heartbreaking, I'm going to look at things like rose quartz. I'm going to look at things like rhodonite. I'm going to look at, for the healing aspect, I'm going to look at things like aventurine. All of those would be very heart chakra related, heart supportive. And so you might want to make an elixir with those 3. Now, not all of those are safe to put right in water.
Correct.
So that's the other way you try to decide. So if it's something that you want to do and you want to have the crystals right in the water, then the only one I would highly recommend in that, it would be rose quartz. Otherwise, I would recommend, and that would be using direct method. So there's 2 methods for the gem water and elixirs.
I'm going to put this one up. What are the methods of making gem water or crystal waters or crystal elixirs?
So there is direct, there's 3 actually, but so there's direct, and that's where you're just like, okay, I just need a little bit of support today. I'm going to throw, and this is where you have to be very careful. You do not use direct method with everything.
Correct.
There are very specific ones that you're going to use directly in your water. Okay. There's a lot of crystals that have toxic tendencies if you're touched, or if it's touched, or if it's ingested in any way, because they've got like, for instance, like pyrite, right? It's corrosive, it's corrodable. So you don't want to put that in, or things like selenite, which is gypsum based. So it's actually going to like dissolve in the water and you're going to end up like ingesting it. So you don't want to do that. So that's why you have to be really specific. Now the quartz ones like rose quartz, citrine, clear quartz, smoky quartz, those ones are pretty safe for me to, I would say on here that you could use those, but cautiously. You want to make sure that you're cleaning them well, and that sort of thing, because you are ingesting when you're doing this. So you want to make sure that you're taking precautions in that sense as well. Right. And so there's information that you can get about that. Please read up on it before you do it. Okay. A good book. This is a great one. I really like this one. Gem Water by Michael Ganger and Joachim Gobel. Okay. It's got a really good understanding and a really good overview of all of these
Love
methods.
that.
Okay. So the first one is just plunk it into your water. That's direct method. And the only ones I would recommend for that would be your quartz based crystals at this point. Okay. Unless you're really going to get deep into it and you're going to look at all this stuff. It's not necessary to do direct.
Yes.
The indirect is very, very effective. And it's what I recommend mostly.
Yes.
Okay.
Indirect method.
Yes. So with the indirect method, you're really putting crystals in a glass vessel. And then you're putting that glass vessel into a vessel of water. And you're allowing the crystals to seep out of the glass and into the water. So I do have a couple of examples here.
Yes, please.
So this one here, this is gem water that I'm creating for immune support. So we've got moss agate in there. We have carnelian, and there's some clear quartz there just to bump up the efficacy of it. Okay, so it's in a test tube, which is glass. You don't want to use the plastic because it doesn't really do the same. Okay, so it is glass in a glass container, and then you could put that in the sunlight for it to really activate it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, another way that people are using all the time now.
This is something that I've seen recently. Yeah, there's
these guys.
Yeah.
And these are bottles that you can get on, I don't know, anywhere, the Amazon or the whatevers, right? And they actually, you can open them up on the bottom. I'm not going to spill the water because the chamber is separate, and you put the crystals right in there. Yes. So you would charge them and all of that, put your intention into them before putting them in the bottle, and then closing it up, and then intending.
Yes.
Right? That they're going to activate and create change in the water. So that's one way. And the other thing, you can add another layer to this kind of thing, is if you want to write your intention out and place it on a piece of paper under, it's also going to help to infuse the water with that intention.
Yes.
So
you could also, for that matter, and anytime you've got a glass, you could write on with a marker what your intention is. After I saw the messages in water information, and the human body is 70 to 80% water.
Exactly.
I was writing on my feet all of the time. That also came from the movie What the Bleep Do We Know, which is a great movie. So,
it is.
Yes. So
I have one with amethyst. You can't change it, unfortunately. Oh, yes. Yeah. I've seen those that you can't change it. So you'll want to make sure that you're clearing those crystals in there. So you can do it with intention, right? Just hold the bottom of the container and say, I clear and charge these crystals. So that you're making sure that you're reactivating them regularly as well.
Okay, so we've had direct, indirect, and what is the third method you had mentioned?
The third one, you take your water. I may actually do a little, you guys are going to see my messy desk, but I guess that's okay.
That's all right.
I'll just do this as a demo. Let me just change my screen here.
Of course. By the way, this is a great opportunity for everyone to make sure that they have subscribed to the channels. Links are in the description.
There we go. Yes, please. So if I was going to create water, you don't have to have the test tube in for this, right? This could just be a glass of water. And you're going to take your points, crystal points, and you're going to point them at the water. Okay. I like 4 for the 4 directions.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to choose my crystals depending on that. So say I want to do abundance, because these happen to be here. So I might choose jade and citrine for abundance.
This is similar to the crystal grids. You could you create a crystal grid with a glass jar of water in it.
Yes, this is actually like a crystal grid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
Yes.
really trying to amp that up, you can actually make a crystal grid around it. So then you could do something like, this isn't exactly how I would do it, but let's do it this way. I'm funny how I like things. It's funny because I'm a symmetry girl. I think it comes back to sacred geometry, but
Of course.
So you could do something like that. So you've actually got a crystal grid around the water, activating this as an elixir.
Yes. I like that. And Jonathan's like, oh, yes, I've made water in a crystal grid before. Silly, I haven't made gem water that way. There you go.
Yep.
Moon water in a crystal grid. Yes.
Yep. So that's the other method. It's just another indirect method that you can use.
I like that
for it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, and I think what's really fabulous about this is, you know, we were talking about how to choose crystals for the water, using some knowledge, doing some exploration. There's great resources available. Be informed about it. Follow your intuition. Yeah. I'm a big supporter of intuitively, if you're an intuitive person and some crystals attract you, then pull some resources and find out why these might be appropriate for what you're working with. And you've got some books, don't you?
I do. Crystal Prescriptions is one of my faves. So if I'm working with somebody and they come in and they've got an issue going on, then I'll look up the issue, because it's got like, a whole bunch of, it'll have the ailment or the issue, and then it'll have a list of crystals. So for instance, where are we here? Dehydration. Here's a good example. So dehydration would be moss agate and moscovite. So I would do indirect. I have done direct with moss agate. It's not that bad in terms of it's safe to do. But moscovite, I would not. So if I was going to do one with both to make it an elixir, I would do it indirect method for that to deal with some dehydration. So it's a way to add more.
I want to say all of the methods are work. All of the methods work. Part of it is what is appropriate for the crystals that you have available, the availability of containers and things like that. So that's really, really great.
And how you're going to use the gem water, because we don't ingest all gem water, right? Yes. That's not always something we're going to do. So like, for instance, when we use in spray, so I have a clearing spray that I do.
Oh, yes.
And I will make it an elixir, and I might add in, black tourmaline and smoky quartz to kind of amp that up.
Yes.
And I don't have to worry about that as much, right? So black tourmaline's not, if you're not ingesting it, it's fine to do it. So I use that in my stuff, and I spray because it amps it up.
Yeah. And we have Raven Tarot Meditation. That's Timmy Raven's other YouTube channel. So
awesome.
It's great to see everybody here. So okay, so because we're at about a half an hour and we've got oodles of things to share. And the other thing is I do moon water, eclipse water, solar water. All of those waters could be used for crystal waters. Yeah. It adds layers. If you want to add those layers, you don't have to. Yep. It's just available to you. So,
and that's how most things in magic work, right? We just add layers of density or layers of intricacy to whatever we're doing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I have to say, for me, I have to be very careful that I'm not adding too many layers, so I'm just not doing the magic.
Yes.
So I'm not just doing the work. So
We don't want to get caught up in the detail.
yes, yes,
We lose the intention that way.
yes. Oh, absolutely. So we've talked about the containers and the vessels.
Yeah.
What are some things, when we think about methods of creating them, we've talked about direct and two indirect methods. How do you cleanse these? What do you do to the crystals before you work with those?
So you want to cleanse them like you would any crystals. And so you want to do, if you're going to do direct, you need to do two kinds of cleansing. You need to do one, the energetic cleansing, and then two, if you're putting it in your water, you're going to want to wash that.
Yes.
Right? And that's why you got to choose ones that would help with choose ones that would help with that you would be able to wash, and that goes into doing your choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I often will use just a mild diluted dish soap, right? Just so that I'm rinsing them off well, because if I'm going to put it, you don't want to have food grade. You want everything to be food grade if you're ingesting it like in the water. So this is why I don't use direct very often.
Yes.
I do recommend the indirect, because the indirect, you just need to do the energetic cleansing and make sure that they're clear. And so, we talked a bit about that in the last one, and was doing the smudging and doing the intention and using your energy symbols and whatnot to clear and charge.
Oh, yeah.
And the moon and the cycles and the sun, that sort of thing, to charge your crystals. So that would be the recommendation for that.
Yes. And I think understand your own rhythm, your own magic, your own practices. That can be very, very helpful. So definitely. Honor that. Don't discount what you know, and definitely check resources that are out there and available. So, yeah, it's perfect. We did talk about containers and vessels.
Yeah.
Love that.
So we talked about how to make it in those things. The other thing you might want to think about is storing it. So once you make it, you don't want to store it too long because it'll lose some of its potency. You can do, like, often if I'm doing like elixirs, or I'm doing even essential oil blends, like in ceremony, then I'm going to like bind them with you bind the energy to them with a ribbon or a binding of some kind, of whatever energy you're bringing in, to symbolically bind the energy to the water. That helps to prolong the life of it a little bit more. And it will prolong, fairly long, but if you're ingesting something, you don't want it to be more than like a month in your fridge, right? You want to keep it in the fridge. Keeping it cool will also help to keep the energy in the water.
I would also say keeping it in darkness may also assist with that. Depends upon, of course, how you were using it, the intention, etc.
That's right. And so if you're using it for elixir and you're taking it internally, there's dark amber bottles that are dropper bottles, and you can use those. Those will help keep that work in.
Yeah.
So
well, and I also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but as I've talked about essential oils before, and one of the things that you do with essential oils, you need a carrier oil with those. Essential oils are too powerful. They will burn. They will hurt you. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But you could also use an elixir or crystal water that you've created to seed more water.
Yes, that is what you can do. So the elixirs can be created ahead of time and kept in the fridge, in those droppers, like what Jonathan was talking about. Yeah, he's got a note there. That's why my teacher used dark glass dropper bottles. So if you have that, you can actually put like a couple of drops. So if this was a regular water bottle, right, and I didn't have the crystals in it, but I wanted this to be gem water, then I can actually take the elixir and put a couple of drops in there,
Yes.
and swish it around, and it will potentize the rest of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a lovely way to be able to do it faster for yourself
Yes.
each day, right? Create
Yes.
it once in an elixir and then use it daily.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a person who writes stuff down that you do. Write the recipe down so that you can refer back to it.
And having labels on your bottles with
Oh, yes.
dates that you've created
Oh,
them.
yes. That's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. So, anything else about, glass is probably the best option.
Yeah. Energy is conducted most with glass. So doing, especially if you're doing like like I mentioned with this, the inside vessel
Mm-hmm.
should be glass.
Yes.
It's best if the outer one is too, especially if you're going to put it in the sunlight or the moonlight as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's best glass.
Yeah.
Plastic just doesn't do it.
So if people want to be an overachiever, you could consider the shape of the container or the vessel that you're using to ensure that it supports what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. So example of that would be if you're making love water or heartache stuff, you could, they have these large containers
Mm-hmm.
that are heart-shaped jars.
Oh, nice. Uh-huh.
Right? So you could create it in that, or you could keep it in the fridge, or something like that, where you're actually putting the symbolism of the heart into the water as well.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Okay, so we have safety and cleansing. We've talked a little bit about that. Let's talk about where you get your crystals. The idea of ethically sourcing them.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a very difficult topic. However, here on Tarot's Dash, we talk about some difficult subjects. And Tanys, you know a little bit about this because you have a crystal shop. You do crystals. You work with them. So tell us about that.
So of course, we're not a wholesaler. We're, and so you want to make sure that you're going to a wholesaler that knows what they're doing. If you're just a small crystal shop. So those crystal shop owners, you want to make sure you're going to someone who actually goes and knows where they're getting their crystals from.
Yes.
Right? That's the best way. There's two issues really. One is that they're not ethically mined. And so that's where whoever the wholesaler is, it's best if they go to take a look at the mines and how that's happening. And then there's also the idea of the fact that there are people that try to do fake crystals, right?
Yes.
So just ordering them online, you want to make sure you're using your discernment.
Yes.
When you're ordering, or when you get them. So sometimes you'll order something thinking it's real, but if you get it and you look at it and you're like, this doesn't look right, check with somebody who knows. Because there's a lot of, like, the biggest one that happens is howlite gets dyed a turquoise color and they try to pass it off as turquoise.
Yes.
That's one of the biggest fakes.
Yes.
But there can be many, like even the quartz can be, they might take clear quartz and color it and try and pass it off as, citrine or rose quartz or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's ways that they do that sort of thing. So it's just to be aware of that is a thing. It is out there. Some people try to take advantage. And so you want to be aware of that and use your discernment when it comes to that.
Yes.
Yeah. And the same with the suppliers, right?
Yeah. I do think this is where a relationship with your wholesaler is important. And so that's an important thing to consider.
Definitely.
And a relationship with your local crystal shop.
Yeah.
I always encourage people to do local, go local.
Yeah.
excuse me, have that conversation, develop a rapport, tell them what you're looking for. They may have some suggestions.
Yeah.
Many reputable stores will have the crystal books around that you were just showing that are available for you.
And oftentimes they'll have people, like crystal masters working at them, because we're all of us that are like been working with crystals for years are drawn to working places like that too. So there's always going to be people there. If a shop owner is wise, they're going to have people that are trained in doing crystal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Didn't we talk about that? You were the last show, Crystal Grids. You were looking at something and it was like, it says it's amethyst, but it's not amethyst. It's it's some,
I don't know, it was some lepidolite or something. I think it was
something like this.
Yeah. And I brought it to their attention and they were like, I don't know. I was like, oh, good.
Timmy said, I built a digital altar, a tree of life for my meditation channel. The bottom of the tree has earth symbols. Any crystal suggestions for this area?
What's coming to mind, if it is earth, there's a couple of really earthy ones that come to mind, and that's like golden tiger or brown tiger's eye. And I also get black tourmaline coming through for that. So I don't know if that's helpful, but for earth feel, the bottom of the tree, think grounding, think the darker, so the brown crystals, axonite is coming to mind. Those brown or black crystals are really grounding. So if it has earth, that's what I would be looking at.
Yes. And Tim, I would also suggest for you to, if you are just getting to know crystals, have some, carry them around with you, put them on the meditation altar, and feel where you are, pay attention to physically where you are experiencing any energy at all, if you are experiencing energy. For me, when I'm doing readings online, I'm wearing all of the tiger's eye around my neck, because for me, that's a very grounding and very protective crystal. Not everybody's like that, and that's okay. And I do like the idea, as we've talked about, crystals, they're programmable. They will also, it's just me, this is weird Gerald, I think they will tell you what they want to do.
They will.
They'll suggest, they'll go, hey, and we've got lepidolite is a suggestion.
Okay.
Thanks, Shem.
Lepidolite is very good for calming, emotional healing, that sort of thing. It actually, I think I heard somewhere, this could be rumors, so don't quote me on this, but I heard that there's actually some lithium in lepidolite. And so we are actually getting the energy of the lithium. We're not ingesting lithium with them, but we're getting the energy.
Play Love, remember, carries black tourmaline in right pocket and black onyx in left pocket.
Very nice. Protective, grounding.
Yep. Eva J said, my friend gave me some crystals for water several years back. She said that energetically one could feel better through things. It is supportive. I definitely agree. Definitely agree. Okay. Cleansing. We've talked about crystals and how to cleanse crystals, how to charge them. That I think was in the Crystal Grid show, which is linked below. So keep that in mind. And Tim said, I'll go to the card crystal store and look for those suggestions. You're welcome. And Bobby is saying, citrine all the way, baby.
Nice. Yeah. So, citrine's lovely. Yeah.
We all do have our unique vibration, and that's why we have our own experience with crystals. Vibration between us and crystals are literally unique to each of us. Absolutely. Yeah. So see you, Hershey.
I was looking to see if I had any axonite here because that's really coming to mind for me, for you.
Tim?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think I do though. No, I have a lot of crystals in front of me, guys. But that's not one of them.
Yeah.
That you could use an amber as well. Amber's cool for that kind of thing. Yeah. No, I don't have one here. But
I like amber. I use amber on my wands that I create. I put it at the end that I hold in for my handle because it's very grounding, and it's very, for me, it's very heritage linked, very ancestral.
Very good.
So
yeah,
and so that's cool.
I could also, if it's okay with you, we do have a crystal directory on the website.
Oh,
on
please
the
do.
website.
Please do.
So I could just show you that too. So if you're looking for, here we are. If you're looking for ways to figure out what to do.
Yes, and we can share that screen.
There we are.
I'm going to add you to that. There you go.
There we go. So this is at the Twila Lifestyle Community website, and it's under resources here. Okay. And so you've got a list of all of the letters. We're going to go to one. So let's go to axonite just because that's the one that I wanted to show you. And they're all alphabetized, and you can see an overview. It's a quick overview of what each one is and what they do. So this is the one that was coming forward for me, for you. It's a grounding stone, brings earth energy up, increases strength and endurance, aids in making changes in your life, helps with problems of the feet, physically and spiritually it helps. And it's also great for meditation and stuff. So that's why I was thinking of that and that's what it looks like there. You can kind of see.
There you go.
Brown and speckly, and they have a lovely energy. So
yeah, that's great. That's great. So, all right, let's put us back there. And one of the other things is I wanted to talk about, in the time that we have left, the energetic and ritual uses for gem waters. What do you think about for that?
Well, your energetic uses is why you would make it. So that could be your healing.
I love it. Did anybody else just hear the fan thwarp? Well, the energetic uses is why you're doing it.
It is, yeah. So thank you, Jonathan, for adding that.
Yes, thanks, Jonathan.
And so, it's because you want the energetic properties of the crystals. So that's why you're creating gem waters overall. And in terms of ritual use, I mean, you could use them for all sorts of reasons, right? We use water in our rituals. You might want to infuse, if you're doing, I don't know, again, a love ceremony, just because it's an easy one to pick, love ceremony, and you want to infuse your ceremonial water for your chalice. You might want to put some rose quartz drops in your ceremony water. You might want to put it in a ritual bath to infuse the bath with the energy. So you can do that. With rose quartz, you could actually put it in the bath because it creates gem water bath, right? But again, you don't want to use it on the skin unless it's something that's safe for consumption. Correct. Doing direct method, right? But you could put drops of anything, if you've done it indirect, into your bath water to create the bath. You might want a few more drops than you would in a water bottle. But
well, and I also think depending upon how you work magically, if you cast a circle, if cleansing is something you do in your rituals, using that for asperging would be amazing. That intention, very, very helpful. And you can also use that if you are physically working on creating something. I'm a maker. If I make things, I want to make sure I have this available and this around to help things be clean. And so consider that too.
Well, and also I do a washing and anointing ceremony for myself when I really need
Mm-hmm.
it. And so
Yes.
you could infuse the water or the oils for that matter
Yes.
um, with crystal energy the same way.
Mm-hmm. And okay, Pamela said, "I'm still attached to the grid you set last time, Tanys.
Oh,
It was
nice.
so elegant and focused. I keep seeing it in front of me.
Beautiful.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
I
That's
love that.
awesome.
Yeah. Gym water is in a spritz bottle to cleanse the area.
Yep.
I
Or
think so.
yourself,
Yes.
right? That's the clearing spray that I do.
Mm,
It's a combination of gem
yes.
water and essential oils and, color, all of that stuff all in one. So
And
a
by
little
the
bit
way,
of salt.
Linda De Gonzalez is here. For those of you who saw the Laugh and Learn yesterday about creating a YouTube channel, take 2 is on Friday. We're answering questions specifically about creating lives. I have a
Beautiful.
post on my YouTube channel. If you want to put your questions in there, please do so.
Awesome.
Please do so.
Awesome.
There's beautiful stuff. There's beautiful things that are great for you could put in sprays.
Mhm.
Florida water is great. It's
Yes.
amazing. I'm also thinking about using some Florida water and maybe setting the spray bottles next to some crystals to help pump
Spruce
it
it
up.
up. Hmm.
So
You can also use them to re-energize stuff. Like if you've had something for a while,
okay.
re-energize it with some crystals, right? Ask the crystals to add some support to it so that it pumps it up again.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would be like taking a refreshing shower or a bath,
Hmm.
just doing a nice little cleanse, a dusting off of things,
Yep.
a dusting off of things.
Yep.
So, do you have any suggestions for resources? I know we saw one,
Yeah.
which,
So the gem water one,
mm-hmm,
which is hiding here now. Yep. There we go. So the gem water book for crystal elixirs and stuff.
yes,
There is talk about some of that in the crystal prescriptions books.
mm-hmm,
There is also the crystal Bibles. This is number 2, but
yes,
there's a whole series. So they talk about some of it in there. So those would be great resources. And there's all sorts of different recipes and all of that kind of stuff.
yes,
Just make sure that you're doing you're using the crystals in the way that they're meant to be used, right? So like things, and there's ones like wolfenite, like don't even go near it, don't bother. There's safer ones that you can use for similar purpose.
yes,
So, things like that. So there's ones that are, yes, any of the Judy Hall books are great.
mm-hmm, yeah,
She's got a
Gerald,
bunch of others.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. And so I think it's important if you've never used crystal water, you've never done gem water or elixirs, start off slow.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't.
If you're doing an elixir, no more than like 4 crystals together.
Mm-hmm.
Don't start adding, dozens of them. It doesn't help. You're better to add a couple of extra of the 4 energies if you want to
Mm-hmm.
put a lot, like
Yes.
this has a bunch of crystals in it because it creates that energy quickly in the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't go and put like that many different ones in there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like these are all the same. I would put no more than 4 different ones in there for that purpose.
Correct.
Right? So, and like this one has 3.
Yes. It has 3 crystals, but 2 of each crystal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is Tim. My contrary self now wants some wolfite or wolflight.
Wolfenite. Yeah, wolfenite. It's
Look it up.
toxic.
It's toxic. Do not put it into water. Don't.
No, don't.
Don't. So
I don't even meditate with mine. I have one. I got like a bunch. Someone was getting rid of a whole bunch of crystals and it was in there. That's the only reason I have one. And the person that I bought it from actually had it in like a little plastic box, and I have left it in there.
Separate. Yeah. Okay.
Once I read about it, I'm like, yeah, you can just stay in that little plastic box over there. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite crystal related deck, Tanys?
So I'm actually just about ready to publish my own crystal deck. So
what?
I have it created. I just haven't published it yet. But yeah, we're just fine tuning a few things in there.
Okay. Please let me know when it comes out. I want to acquire it. I want to have you on a deck casual with it. Purchase awesome. Responsibly, know your limits. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, it's like, what?
Crystal archetypes.
What?
Is what it is.
Yeah.
So, and it really looks at the archetypal energy of the crystals, and you can pick a card and know what crystal to sort of focus on that day, and gives you the little.
Or she's like, when I won the question game. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Maru said the crystal grid deck from Mystic Mondays is super fun.
Yes.
By the way, hi, Mama Sushi. Good to see you.
I do have decks here. For some reason, of course, because you're asking me, I can't see them.
Of course. Maru also mentioned Valencia Chang. So
if you like the grids, there's one that gives you grids.
Nice.
To try them. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this other one, but I don't know. I don't remember the name of it because I just have it sitting here. But I have this one. Does anybody know this one? Do I have my box? I don't have my box behind it.
That one. I am.
Because that's one I like. Does anybody know that one?
I am desperately looking for. There's one by. The Radiant Crystal cards.
Oh, yes. That's a nice one.
Yes, the Radiant Crystal
and this cards. One. This would have to be my favorite.
Liquid crystals. Yeah, and so it's this one. There it is. And what's great about this is it has on one side of it, it has an illustration of it in the title, and then on the other, it gives you the chakra, the astrological sign, the affirmation, and the energies. So keep that in mind. That's wonderful. So
the liquid crystal, it actually has light language in it as well. I love this.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oops.
Love that.
Yeah. So I would say actually this is the one I use the most because I actually use it in crystal baths that I give.
Oh, nice.
People come and we set up a crystal grid around them. There's a mattress here, and we set up a crystal grid around them, and I use those cards on them as well as crystals because of the light language.
Nancy O'Crone's Intuition is here. Mama Sushi loves the Crystal Spirit Oracle deck, I believe, by Colette Baron Reed.
Oh, nice. Yep.
So
I've seen that one.
And Jonathan said it looks familiar. So
yeah, that's for this one. Do you know this one? I don't have the. Does that look familiar?
It does not look familiar to me. And Pamela has the Bouchette designs.
Nice.
So, but soon we'll be able to have you on and we'll talk about your crystal deck.
As soon as I get it,
it's like, holy crap.
Published or whatever.
There you go.
Printed.
I love that.
That kind of thing.
Yes. Thank you very much for being here, everyone. Please remember to make sure that you are using caution.
Yes.
You are well informed. as with everything, please remember this is for entertainment purposes only, and use caution. Use
Yeah.
caution. So I realize that I'm saying use caution. This is for entertainment purposes only. I don't want people to discount everything that we've talked about. We've talked about a lot of really powerful information. The idea of
Yeah.
why you make them crystal water, choosing the crystals, the methods, the direct and indirect, two indirect methods. Pay attention to your containers and the vessels. Do the appropriate cleansing and clearing of them. And I would encourage people to consider in their everyday life how they might think about adding a little bit of crystal water to their work.
Mm-hmm. One other thing I just want to mention too is
Yes.
I've actually used crystals for pets too.
Say more about that.
In their water. So making gem water specifically for pets. There's actually this one, Crystal Healing for Pets. So you can actually it has suggestions on what to do with them. And so you could look at that and make an indirect. I would only go indirect with pets. Don't go direct at all. Only indirect. But you could then put a couple of drops of that into their water if they're struggling with something specific.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that.
Okay. So
Cheryl asked if there's a list of poisonous crystals.
There is. If you search it, you'll find one. I am going to actually, I was looking at that this morning. I'm going to post one.
Good.
In the membership area on my site so that people can have access to it. So it'll be in there. Okay. So if you want to sign up for that, I'll put it in the resources in there.
Excellent. And the link to that is below. It's twillolifestyle.co. .ca, sorry.
Yeah, .ca, and there's the memberships tab.
Yes.
And it's free to join.
Yeah, so it's free to join.
It's just join it. We're just trying to create community with it, really, and put out some resources. The longer monthly readings go in there, and there's a meditation and some pick a card readings and fun
very
stuff.
Nice.
Yeah,
very nice. Is there anything you have coming up you want to share with people beyond every Monday? You have your Twillo Talk Live, which is you and Jennifer having honest and authentic conversations.
Yes, and we have our Twillo Stash, which we just had this week on Monday. So stay tuned for that once a month.
Yes,
and that's where Gerald comes and joins us. And then we have Galactic Gab this Friday at 7:30, and
very nice.
That's with Jen and Dr. Lisa Thompson. And we talk galactic stuff, which is a lot of fun. Tonight, there is a full moon thing with Beyond Being Human. So you can go to that website, nice. Beyond Being Human. And that will, I'm doing just a little blurb there. I'm dropping in tonight. I have a client later, but so that's always a fun event.
Yeah.
Once a month, we also do a support group for that, and that would be the 19th for Beyond Being Human. There's support groups on there, so you can check that out as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I got going on this week.
Maru did share Melody Loves is in the Earth is such a great reference book. So much information. Nice. Okay. I like that. I have a show on Friday with Linda Day Gonzalez. We're actually creating a YouTube channel focusing on creating lives. Please post your questions below for that so Linda and I can give you our personal experience of those. On Saturday, I have a show with Selena. It's a casual, so you get to know Selena, Essence of the Moon. And please just like and subscribe to both of our channels. That way you will not miss all of the good stuff that we're doing.
Exactly.
So, but yeah.
Awesome.
So thank you very much, everyone. We will see you next time. Thank you, Tanys. I appreciate you being here.
It's an honor. Always great to come on and be with you.
All righty. Thanks, everybody. Bye.